I think when it comes to a Blak Twang podcast, and often I've thought about this, it's the idea of having you on has matured over time. And I've often thought to myself, wow, what do you lead on? Because for Blak Twang, the name itself means so much to so many different people depending on the era. If it was Network Southeast, if it was Channel U era, because you were prominent in that time.
Yeah.
The whole Mobo era, of the MTV bass era. And then follow that through with the prestige. Sammy Deluxe touring globally.
Yeah.
Being recognised in the Source magazine as international, title of UK hip-hop.
Yeah.
Man.
And recently, just to add, not to really kind of blow my own trumpet, but I guess I'm going to do it anyway.
It's your podcast, brother.
But I literally, 2 weeks ago, I received a Grammy certificate for something that I did 20 years ago.
Grammy certificate.
Yeah. So...
wow.
Yeah, and like I said, all of this stuff I just do because I love the art of it. I'm not like, I must write something. However, I said this story even when I was giving my speech when I was receiving that certificate. My dad was always. I remember my dad. When he was alive, obviously God bless, God bless and rest in peace. When he was alive, he was always like, hopefully. I pray for you every day. Like I pray that you write a number one day. And I'm always saying to him, Dad, I've already written number ones. They're just in the underground hip hop section. But
may not be in the Royal Variety performance, but it's definitely up in the top ranks, right?
But my dad, he was like, if you could write, he would have been so proud. He would have been so proud to know that his son, I'm the only son, by the way, got a Grammy nomination or Grammy award or whatever. And I remember when I think I got a Mobo award, and I was in the newspaper, and I think my dad cut out the piece of paper, the clip of the newspaper, and we always used to show it to his friends and stuff like that. So that was great.
Add the wallet kind of thing. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Killa Kela Podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
Street Culture TV.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela Podcast.
Oh, here we go. Killa Kela Podcast, live and direct, central London, or as central as you need to be. Could be. Choose to be, don't want to be anywhere else, believe me. A lot of podcasts, a lot of time. And if you've got some on your hands, go and check them out. Sharing is caring and all that good stuff. Okay, people, our sponsors, the mighty GK Nifty Heads, have 10,000 play-to-earn GraphPunks NFTs to give away. Get ready as London's white trash goes blockchain digital with Bitcoin Cash tokens locked into them to claim. Get yourselves over to the website gkniftyheads.com and play to earn now. Inside the house, some of you may know him as the Rottenus. The Tony of Rottenus shit, no less, with a whole string of his, ranging from Network Southeast to Kickoff, Estelle, collaborations, Mobos, you name it, he's got it. Kingdom, let's get it. Tony Rotten, Blak Twang in the building.
We're here.
Where to begin with so much accolade? I mean, very few people can actually command a history, a legacy, a timeline like that. What's your first thoughts when I try and assemble all this together on intro?
My first thoughts, blessed. Yeah, blessed because, as you said, not too many people get to kind of achieve what maybe I've done over the time. It's been a long time, to be fair. But, yeah, man, I give thanks and I'm appreciative every single day for where we are and where I am and what's been happening to me.
This man's busy, you see. So we're, just having a little preamble before we start recording. And he's just on the phone to Shorty Blitz. Got a quick, he was in the studio last night. Just, got to make a few calls. Business, business. It's 5 p.m. somewhere around the world.
Indeed.
I mean, this is a lifestyle, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's rap life, and I've always said it. Like life imitates art, and art reflects life.
Yeah, it does.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, for me, don't stop, man. As long as I'm still alive and I'm still breathing, then we'll keep on creating.
What's it feel like to be Tony Rotten in 2024 as it stands? What posing questions do you have in your head? What kind of What differentiates it from Network Southeast era,
Oh,
for
man.
instance? I mean,
Yeah, I think the energy is very different. It's a very different time. And it's funny how it slowly kind of happened right under our noses and under our eyes, and we didn't really see it happening, the change. The change has been kind of crazy because, especially if we, I don't know if people know where you're located, but
Yes.
if you know where,
Arcade, yes.
where exactly, right. So we're located right in the center of hip-hop culture, like back when I was growing up. There's nothing reflecting hip-hop culture other than this place right here, right now. So for me, it's kind of changed. The culture, as we said, is eroded, but systematically and almost like...
1,000%.
Yeah, it's mad. Because, okay, so just to give you an example, right? So where we're located, you've got Carnaby Street, literally a stone throw away from here. You've got Soho, a stone throw from here. You've got Covent Garden, a stone throw from here. You've got Swiss Centre, where people used to break dance, like right there. There was so many like spots for hip hop. There was Tower Records around the corner. Literally, like if I spit, I can hit Tower Records, right? That doesn't exist anymore. Carnaby Street doesn't really. There's no 4-Star General over there anymore. What used to be hip hop shows. Deal Real, I don't believe is there. And I'm talking the original Deal Real. So a lot of people don't even know this, but Handspun. Pete Real. I call him Pete Real.
People, you know, but here's the thing, and a lot of this is because, you know, obviously I came in through the late 90s of it all. You know, Pete Bond was most certainly Deal Real, and then you would have MK, you'd have Tony Vegas, and you'd have
Shorty.
Estelle and Shorty, absolutely, Harry.
You know, so many record shops, Black Market Records, Reckless Records, Unity Records.
Then you had the venues, you know, like
all of the venues.
O-Bar.
Exactly. You had O-Bar, you had Gas Club around the corner.
That's what, Rubber Rumba.
You had the WAG.
Yeah.
People don't even remember this.
Sleeping on the WAG.
On the Wardour Street.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
right.
crazy. So, like, it's just so... Oh, then there was another spot right next door to Empire. Do you remember Empire? I don't know, it's still called Empire. In Leicester Square.
Yes, it is, yes.
Right, so next door to there was like a... I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? It will come back to me eventually. But there's a Haagen-Dazs shop. Well, there used to be a Haagen-Dazs shop next door to it. There's cinema. But then there was another spot right there where hip-hop was going off.
African Centre?
Nah, African Centre's Covent Garden, obviously. So
Covent Garden as well,
yeah,
see, more roots.
So exactly. So all around here, like I said, this was the hip-hop hub, if you like the hip-hop mile with everything. Like the culture was really there where people could actually meet up. You could see the fashion, you could see the culture, you could see the art, you could see the music, you could hear the music. You know what I mean? So all the elements they existed. So for us not to see it now, all these years later, is a sad indictment on the music here. But I suppose things have to change. Do you know what I mean? Like things have to change because it's just about, as I say, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the one who's most adaptable to change.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Because
you understand?
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Right. So in a way, we have to figure out how to adapt because it's just probably a little phase we're going through right now, and I'm sure it's kind of changed in its own different way because you got to remember there's another generation that are doing their own thing and doing very well at it too. So they must have found another way.
Yeah.
But it would just be nice to kind of. It's always important that our culture's not just discarded like rotten. Like rotten food.
Yeah,
Do you
you're
know what
right.
I'm trying to say?
Well, disposable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in a way, that's why I'm always like, I really want to see it because, you know, if you don't know where you're coming from, you're never going to know where you're going to.
Yeah, that's right. That's everything, isn't it?
Exactly. So that's how I feel in 2024 from, if you think, all those years back.
Retracing those
Exactly.
times.
So yeah, this was really like, this area here really shaped me as an artist. As a person, so much things happen around this area for me, like going back from witnessing people breakdancing to then going to do my first ever show as Blak Twang at Borderline, Tottenham Court Road.
Another venue that's gone. Jesus, man. I'm telling you, man. I feel real old.
So that's what I mean. When I say the culture's eroded,
it really has.
It's crazy, bro. Like in a mad way. Like you think. So that was Borderline. Then when I got more successful, I played Astoria. That doesn't exist
no more.
So there's so many other venues I could list. I could reel off these venues, like, and that's why I've always said like, they knock down our old blocks, turn them into luxury flats. Now I go back and see You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there you go. Here we are.
Yeah, so here we are. So when were you ballooning around here watching breakdancing? What year would that be?
Oof.
How old have you been?
Oh, I was 16.
16, so we're talking...
So we're talking like 86, 87, 88.
Wow, so you were... See, the interesting thing about this, and maybe this is just part of my timeline and when you're being introduced to your music. I mean, you were very much of that, yes, it ran parallel with that early 90s Nas Illmatic era. But it sounds to me like you had a prestigious incubation period.
Absolutely.
Which kind of fell in line with the first generation of hip hop.
Yeah.
It's interesting that your career really did. You became almost like this, almost second or third generation.
Even I was there watching.
Yeah.
So that's called being a really good student of the game. You understand?
You know what I'm saying?
So like for me, it was like I watched, I observed, and I wasn't observing just because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put that to use. Let me take notes. It wasn't even that. It was just me soaking it in as a child, as like a sponge, as a child would. A child doesn't take notes, but a child remembers everything. You hear me? So, like for me, it was just me watching all these guys. I just knew I loved it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I loved everything as far as the fashion goes, as far as the breakdancing goes, the graffiti all over the tubes back in the days in West London. There was like it was crazy. And then obviously going to the events and listening to people rap and whatever, and then eventually thinking, yeah, I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, and then I wanted to tell my own story, and then before you knew it, it was like, okay, this is really, it meant so much to me. It was like me perfecting my art. Well, not perfecting it, but just me practicing. Because you're never ever perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're always practicing. Practice.
Your first record was Schoolie D, Tower Records.
When I purchased, yeah. So I actually worked in the pizza place, literally in this probably same block.
The lineage is real, and it's real.
I literally worked in the pizza spot right here, and all the tips that I got, I would go over to Reckless Records. I still remember walking there because there was like I think there was like a car park right next door to it, where that record shop was located.
Yeah.
And I remember buying Schooler D, Parkside Killers, the black sleeve with the green cartoon writing type thing. I mean, not cartoon, comic book writing.
Yeah.
And that was my first
But
record.
there's the way that hip hop married. Like there was something kind of fucked up in a good way about Schoolie D's album covers because he wasn't fucking around. He meant every. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a bit like Doggy Style album cover.
Exactly.
Like, whoa, okay.
Exactly.
This is gangster shit. But it's the way that hip hop married itself into modern culture. Pop culture, the future pop culture.
Yeah.
It just seemed to have such a command on youth, and in all facets, like you're saying, to see the graph on trains.
Yeah.
This wasn't a spectator sport. You were in it to be in it, and you're partaking.
Yeah, people were risking their lives to even get these art pieces and masterpieces that we were just looking at like, oh, what's this? And some people calling it vandalism and whatever. Like, I remember I used to go down. The whole reason why my actual album is called Detwork Southeast. I don't know. I'm sure people have heard it before.
Drop the science,
right?
Go on.
Because my actual estate and my block literally overlooked the train tracks where Network Southeast goes past. So you got like Southwestern. You got.
Yeah. Did you see trains going past?
Yeah. Oh,
Graph.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Like, and then as you're going between New Cross to London Bridge, there's like all these like mad high buildings where you got like mad graph artists. Like there was a guy called Known.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Big
must.
up Known. He's been on podcasts. Yeah.
Shout out to Known.
Yeah.
Like Known, I see Known all over like that route. Do you know what I mean? And near Downside Worth, Fisher's Boys thing in Tower Bridge, and it was crazy. Like mad graffiti. Do you know what I mean? So in a way, like that was just. You know what I mean? And you're just literally. I'm just riding the train and I'm just watching and seeing what's going on, and I'm not really thinking, oh yeah, one day. But it's there because you're record. One thing about me is, and I think it's just having that ability to retain information. I think is important. Because especially as a writer, as a performer.
Yeah.
Because it will always come back to you. I write pieces of art. I've tried to write movies. And it's funny when I say, vivid. Like I try to paint vivid pictures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? and you know.
Well, he says it's same sort of recall skill as an actor.
Yeah.
Because you obviously, there's 1,000 words in an album, and you're
Exactly.
reciting them on live performance.
Constantly.
Teleprompter here, you know.
Nope, none at all. And sometimes you're like, you don't even know where it's coming from. That memory bank is just like
Mad, yeah.
It's just there.
I
so.
can only imagine.
Mad terabytes.
Mad terabytes. Sticking with the grad thing, because I think for a lot of people, and this is maybe little known, but to those who know, they know. Like when you had like album covers, like rare, you know, almost like box set single releases with Banksy artwork.
Correct.
What was it? Was there inside knowledge that this was going to blow the fuck up?
Not at all. I think if anything, I can only give credit to Mark Jones.
Yeah, big up Mark Jones.
Yeah, big up Mark Jones. You know, wherever you are, and hope you're blessed and healthy. But basically, I think Banksy used to put a lot of artwork in that sort of Portobello area. Like they used to see his work a lot, and I'm not sure how. Basically, Mark managed to link him, but he knew him. So
Stop it.
Yeah, so
Is that how it went down?
Yeah, that's how it went down, I think, as far as I know. And then I got introduced to him, and then he agreed to do my artwork first of all, and then he also agreed to shoot my video for Kickoff. So a lot of I don't know if people know that little bit of trivia, but he directed the Kickoff video.
Stop it
So we
off.
shot that in West London. We shot that like Queen's Park.
But you had the Trickster, you had all these different releases.
So
they all had the kind of trail of campaign.
Ain't Done Too Bad. That's my favorite. It's funny actually because of all so there's like obviously you got the Kickoff cover.
Yeah, you got Rotten.
You got So Rotten cover.
Yeah.
You've got Trickster. Did I say Trickster already?
Yeah.
Right. So Trickster, Kickoff, So Rotten, and then you had Ain't Done Too Bad. The Ain't Done Too Bad one is my favorite. Fun enough, I don't know why. It's something about that picture, like.
Is that the orange one?
No, that's the sort of grey, bluey one.
Yeah,
it's
got
like
it.
this colour almost.
Yeah. I know the one.
And I'm sort of sat there with a cigar in one hand and a Molotov cocktail in the other one, in a suit, and that's very Banksy.
Yeah.
You know, like the juxtaposition of like images. So.
But that I think that example by default is the exemplary version of what I think a lot of artists feel like. That it's the opulence meets I'm gonna absolutely destroy this.
Exactly.
Thing. I love what a
It's almost
image.
like if you think The Dark Knight, the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, master criminal made stupid amounts of money, but then just showed you I could just burn this down.
Yeah.
Like,
Born to lose, live to win.
there you go.
Attitude.
There you go.
God, that's good. How much do you reckon? Like, I mean, I'm sure you've done the sums. Like, if you've got all of them laid out and you've got the original, number and signed by Tony Rotten himself, how much do you reckon they go for with the Banksy? They got a piece of money, huh?
Yeah, silly. I mean, the funny thing is, and also.
Please tell me you've got copies.
Oh, I've got copies, all right.
Good.
But the maddest thing is, like I've seen, and it's been sent to me before by quite a few people to say those albums. I think before it even got discovered that the artwork was done by Banksy, they were going for quite a significant amount of money, and then now someone said it's sold for as much as 600 quid.
Yeah.
For an album. I'm like, well, I didn't see a single penny of that 600 quid.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a mad one because, But shout out to Banksy nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know. And when I went to his exhibition the other day, or unauthorized exhibition, I don't know how unauthorized it was. I noticed that he had done, obviously, in the early sort of part of his career, he had done a lot of artwork for a few different artists. So I was kind of in a steam company as well, actually. So
Yeah. I think wasn't Blur one of them?
Blur was one of them, yeah. Dilated Peoples, I believe, was one of them.
Stop
I think. I could be wrong, obviously.
Comment below. You tell us. You know.
Yeah, please do.
Sure. Oh, and wasn't there? There was another. It was a compilation as well, wasn't there? There was a compilation.
Yeah, there was loads of them. There was, I think, there was.
Back to Mine or something.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. I mean, I've got them in my phone, but yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, great, incredible, and who would have thought? Like sometimes, as they say, if you had the foresight about certain things, you would literally be like, yeah, let's do this because we know this is going to happen. Have you ever seen that movie by, I'm a big movie buff, by the way.
Talk to me.
It was with Ben Affleck. Have you seen it?
What, the Zoolander or Tropic Thunder? Which one?
No. So, did I say Ben Affleck? Yeah, Ben Affleck.
Is it Ben Affleck?
Yeah, no.
Oh no, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller's. Yeah.
See,
So
Ben
Ben Affleck did this movie where he was brought in to work on something that could sort of predict the future.
Yeah, I know the one.
You know, I can't remember what it's called. I can never remember the name of the movie, but it was a great movie. But yeah.
Comment below.
Yeah, please do it again. I'm sure someone's already done it. But yeah, obviously they could pick lottery numbers and they could see what was going to happen. If I'd known like what was going to happen with Banksy, obviously back then, yeah, it's crazy. Because some of the things that he's done recently is like, wow. Yeah.
And continues to inspire, which is,
yeah.
You know, I think when it comes to a Blak Twang podcast, and often I've thought about this, you know, it's the idea of having you on has matured over time. And I've often thought to myself, wow, what do you lead on? Because for Blak Twang, the name itself means so much to so many different people depending on the era. If it was Network Southeast, if it was Channel U era, you know, because you were prominent in that time.
Yeah.
The whole Mobo era, you know, of the MTV bass era. And then follow that through with the prestige, Sammy Deluxe touring globally.
Yeah.
You know, being recognised in the Source magazine as international, you know, title of UK hip hop.
Yeah.
Man.
And recently, just to add, not to really kind of blow my own trumpet, but I guess I'm gonna do it anyway.
It's your podcast, brother.
But I literally 2 weeks ago I received a Grammy certificate for something that I did 20 years ago.
Grammy certificate.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, and like I said, like all of this stuff I just do because I love the art of it. I'm not like, oh, yeah, I must write something. However, you know, I said this story even when I was giving my speech when I was receiving that certificate. My dad was always. I remember my dad. You know, when he was alive, obviously God bless, God bless and rest in peace. When he was alive, he was always like, oh, you know, hopefully. You know, I pray for you every day. Like I pray that you write a number one day. And I'm always saying to him, Dad, I've already written number ones. They're just in the underground hip hop section. But
may not be in the Raw Variety performance, but it's definitely up in the top ranks, right?
But you know, my dad, like he was like, yeah, if you could write, he would have been so proud. He would have been so proud to like know that his son, I'm the only son by the way, got a Grammy nomination or Grammy award or whatever. And I remember when I think I got a Mobo award, and I was in the newspaper, and I think my dad cut out the piece of paper, the clip of the newspaper, and we always used to show it to his friends and stuff like that. So that was great.
Add the wallet kind of thing. Have you seen this?
Yeah, that's my son. So yeah, you know, it's a blessing. Like and I'm sure he continues to look over me and bless me that kind of way. Because as I said, I had no idea till I got a call from my good friend, the president, aka Kennedy, who said, "Did you know you were nominated for a Grammy?" I was like, "For what?" And then he told me. I was like, "Oh."
So
cool.
what was the Grammy for?
Yeah, so the Grammy was for. I said all of that. I didn't tell you what it was about. So
no, it was still in awe. But,
yeah.
You know.
So the Grammy was for a track that I featured on in 2004 or 5, called Def Jamaica. So Def Jam, I'm not sure you...
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
remember
Def Jam
this
did a project.
Period, yes.
Yeah, with where they did like dancehall reggae artists or reggae artists in general with hip hop artists.
Genius idea.
So they had like, I think they had DMX on tracks with somebody else, Cameron on track with somebody, or Dipset on track with somebody. CNN was on a track with Wayne Wonder,
Genius.
Buju Banton. I was on a track with a guy called Major Damage and a girl, I can't remember her name, but yeah, great.
Wow.
And it was produced by Tony Kelly of the Dave Kelly. Those guys did all that stuff back in the day, like all the big bashment rhythms or dancehall rhythms that people don't like calling bashment. Dancehall rhythms, like those guys.
So they went authentic on it.
Yeah, so I proper. And then I remember around that time actually, I recorded at Quad Studios, which is the same studio obviously where, you know, the famous Quad Studio where Tupac and Biggie recorded, and Tupac got shot in that studio. I recorded there in New York, and then I remember doing, because it was also in conjunction with Red Star. And Red Star, if anyone knows, is like a Heineken.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it was in conjunction with Red Star, and you know we did like promoed it. We did a launch in Jamaica, so we performed it. We performed in St. Anne's. It was me, Beanie Man. I can't, bro. I mean, I tried to retain information, but it's a lot. There was a lot of people basically, and it was really good. So, you know, I did that track, and it came out, and I didn't think nothing of it.
Grammy, thank you.
Before you know, it was nominated for best reggae album or something like that at the Grammys. So something that I was involved in.
That's just and again, just heightening the mystique.
Yes.
Of Tony Rotten, and like I say, that era in itself, that one story there is defining of a Blak Twang era.
Absolutely, and I think maybe that's why. Sorry to cut you,
No, not at all.
But I think that's why sometimes I get a little bit irritated. I'm not saying angry because I'm not really like it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I get irritated when they try to downplay all the stuff that our era did. Sometimes when I read some of these articles or I see some of these chats online and whatever, and I'm like, you weren't even there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Kind of thing. Like, you know, so sometimes that irritates a little bit. Like, when I hear some of those things, I get irritated, and some people will be talking, and I'm like, okay, where's the receipts? Like, come on. You know, like, we talk about things that we did. Like, I can talk about things that we did. I don't go around like... What, you know what I mean? Like, I did this, I did that. I don't do that. I could talk about me going around the world from doing this music thing. Yeah. And I mean literally going around the world. I'm talking like every continent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, like, your marker pen don't lie. I remember going into all these different...
Exactly.
Like Dortmund, some place in Germany, you know.
I'm in China, bro. Yeah. I'm in Shanghai. I'm in New Zealand. I'm in Australia. I'm like, and people are coming up to me like, oh, could you sign my record? I'm looking at them like, wow.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
Boom, back.
I remember doing a show. I did a show in, we did a show in Casablanca one year in a stadium in Morocco.
Stop
and I was like, and the people were coming up to me and said, oh yeah, your song was like, that was like our #1 song here. Da, da, da. I was like, wow. And this is a French Arabic speaking country. And I'm like, you know.
I remember going into Smoothie King in Miami.
There you go.
And hearing Rotten. I remember hearing it on the radio in Miami. Like, this was the real deal.
In a way, like, you know, shout out to everything's relative. You know, like as I said at the start of the show, the first thing I think about is blessed and thankful because, you know, it's a blessing to even have that. Because I'm not saying I'm the best rapper, but I know I work damn hard at what I do and I really put a lot of thought into what I do. And being that whole best conversation, anyway, is always subjective, to be honest with you, because, you know, some people's so-called best won't even come into the conversation when other people select their best. And it's always, I'm always like, if you ain't got this person in your top 5, just in my opinion, then that top 5 ain't valid to me. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I rate other people so highly. So when I'm seeing, oh, who's this, that's a dead conversation. Like, art is subjective. Art is not to be debated.
That's crazy, isn't it? That people
have
a top 5 like that.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Like,
that's a lot.
That's
a lot of energy.
So what I tend to do now is, you know, if I'm even going to entertain that conversation, I'm always like, greatest of our era. Not, you know, of all time, of a particular era. Because there's so many different eras you know, when it comes to rapping and even production. Like, again, it's all subjective. Like, some people say Dr. Dre's the greatest producer. Some people say Primo's the greatest producer. I could say Harry Love's the greatest producer. Or I could say Ninth Wonder's the greatest producer. Or I could say, I don't know, Funkadale's the greatest producer. Like, if you're talking about, like, work rate and the quality of the work, sure. Do you get me? Like, there's so many names I could mention and, you know.
It's not easy to pinpoint. You can't just...
Definitely not.
Just because you got the favourite
I can even say Omar's the greatest producer because Omar's music is incredible.
God, yeah.
And, you know, and his music sounds like I would love to rap to his music. Like.
And understated as well, based on the fact that he's more of a figurehead of a genre.
There you go.
It's so true.
So, yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of... I have a lot of perspectives on things from my point of view. Like I said, I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. You know what I mean? I'm a leader of my own world and my own destiny. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, Titan in the game.
Yeah, man.
And of a time. I mean, I can count on like half a hand. There was you, Roots Maneuver, that were really making money touring and had tunes in the charts. I'm struggling to think of anyone else. Genuinely.
Well, I mean, some people obviously got in the charts and did what they did, but they didn't necessarily.
Who by I'm struggling. Estelle? No, that was still late. It was later, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Estelle also didn't. She chose not to do rap, really.
Yeah, she moved out.
Obviously, she can rap. I know that because she was on my records and whatever. But she was a songstress.
Yes.
So
Aspiring,
yeah.
yes. And she done all right for herself as well.
Very well. Very well. So. Yeah, man.
Yes.
But yeah,
good forecast from Tony Rotten. You know what I mean? Like
one thing I think I'm good at is I've got a good eye for spotting, spotting talent.
Right. Yes,
maybe I should have been an A&R. But hey,
right. Yeah, well, that's
another story, isn't it? But yeah,
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to think of any. I mean,
look, there were artists doing well. Let's be honest. Whether they got to the level that I got to is different. They can tell me differently because I only know what I know. But you could call like Jest. You can call Skinny Man. You can call maybe
Skinny Man because of the album.
Yeah.
Definite. Yeah, that's a forerunner there.
Yeah. I mean, around that same time, I don't know, really, like it's a bit of a tricky one. It was difficult
because it was a real time, a small time.
Yeah, but people were doing a lot of stuff independently. So I salute everyone's sort of effort and everyone's like, struggle because. It wasn't easy.
That Network Southeast came out in a form of a mixtape. It was like so low key. I remember getting a call. I don't even know. I'm not even know who I got it from. I was just like, this is Network South.
Yeah.
It was like the Wu-Tang only one copy that was in the box. It was like that to me. I was like, yo, no, you can't have this. This is my copy. You know. It was such a rarity. And we're talking 96.
96 going into 97. Yeah.
Talk to me about that and how did you manage such a lawless approach to having your music out?
Nah, so what happened with that one? That wasn't even like I don't think it was intentional to obviously like do it that way because back then you used to remember mixtapes were like the thing, innit? So we pressed up like the cassette tapes and I think they did probably some white labels as well. I'm not even sure, but that was just marketing plot. Again, I like to give credit where credit's due, and I'll probably give that to Chus, Jeremy.
Yeah, okay.
Jeremy was
Chus was
it was a marketing genius, if you like. Shout out to Chus wherever you are, and he kind of had some really good ideas, even down to like a lot of my early artwork that we came up with. Like some of my favorite artwork, fun enough, when I think back, are like the Network Southeast single cover, where.
I remember that.
We were just trying to figure out, what should we do for the artwork? And then, I don't know if it was him or me or whatever. I think I either had like like when you go out here and you got all them tourist kiosks and whatever that sell like all the London souvenirs and whatever. There was a T-shirt. It had like, the front of it was Piccadilly Circus. So I wore it under a jacket and just sort of held it open like that. So you could see it was London if you look properly. And I think it might have even said, it might have said Piccadilly, I don't know. It might have said London, I think it says London. And that was the front cover. And then another cover was, so that was Network Southeast cover. Then we had a cover for like, I think it was the real estate. Mm-hmm. So the real estate cover was just a postcard of my estate, but done in like a sepia blue tone.
So sick.
Exactly, right?
That's my favourite.
So the whole idea behind that was really like, send a postcard to the world about where we're from.
Yeah.
Kind
Message
of
in a bottle.
Yeah.
Kind of vibes.
Sort of thing. So yeah, that was it. But yeah, so that's how the whole Network Southeast thing kind of came about, where he just thought about, let's do a cassette thing. Let's sort of get it out to DJs and stuff like that, so they could have like the first pre-copy of the album. Unfortunately, I kind of canned that idea with the album because of like, everyone's heard the story, the whole marketing budget being slashed, and I said, well, this album's got such a buzz, we'll be doing a disservice if we didn't give it the full marketing. So for you to say the marketing back then, we thought maybe the marketing of 30 to 50 grand was great, and then you slashed it to like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, in hindsight, I would have done it now that I know what I know, but at the time I was feeling myself a little bit like, come on, this is
rightly so as well. This was like
you know.
this was seminal, and also you generated like almost like a cult classic within that such a small time frame. It's like this enigma of Blak Twang.
Absolutely. Well, like we'd had single after single. Like the energy was crazy. I'd been, like you said, I'd been nominated for. I think I'd been nominated like a Source Award or something back then.
Mad.
I'd been covered in the Vibe magazine back then. We'd had videos, like back-to-back videos, which was kind of a rarity for a UK rapper at the time, I believe. And yeah, just done a lot of stuff. Like, so the buzz was crazy back then. And
from a street,
I even had a Mobo award that time.
Yeah,
like I literally got the first Mobo award for hip hop, best hip hop act. And I think that time, you know.
You did one of the first at the Glastonbury as well, weren't you?
Yes.
First hip hop act at the Glastonbury.
Yeah, one of the first. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was myself, and I believe I took Rodney with me, or maybe he kind of just was there off his own back with MK. And Black Alicious performed that same year, and
I think we were there as well. I think Vadim
possibly,
was there with Scratch Perverse.
yeah.
We
So
there.
I'm sure. Exactly.
But bro, like you, I remember seeing you on stage,
and that's another thing. See, so this is what I'm talking about. Like certain times you read again, people ain't doing their homework, and people want to discard our history. And as I say, history is written by the victorious, so we don't document it and talk about it.
No.
They'll never know. But you know, we did hip hop. We were like the first hip hop acts at Glastonbury, like for UK anyway. And yeah, I think that made a difference.
Yeah.
Because we must have done something right. Because ever since then, they've had loads of them back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, shout out to all the ones that are doing it now and still really flying that flag for us. Your Stormzy's, your
right.
Gigs,
Yeah,
all these great artists that have come out since then. But it'd be nice to kind of, you know, tell the real story.
Tell the real story.
You know, as I said, I even wrote, you know, I laid a verse last night and I said, you know, I'm Blak Twang though. My brain remains unchanged like Django. And their version of history is a scam, bro.
Whoa!
You heard me?
Yo!
So that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Bars. While on the subject of Rodney P, Kingdom, Ty, rest in peace,
Rest
Ty.
in peace, Ty, man, my brother.
We don't have much documented on the post of Kingdom. Lockdown happened. Everything shut off. Kingdom was on the Killa Kela podcast.
That's right.
Round at your house.
At my house, my old house,
Good as well. That was a good day.
Yep,
man.
I made some ackee and saltfish and dumplings and plantain.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a cook as well.
Yeah, I am.
Culinary. Yeah, in fact, it's really weird because, you know, when we were sitting there talking, I was like, bro, have we known each other for a long time?
Very long time.
Like, we've been around each other's houses. And,
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
The venues, like, you know, looking at the flyers.
Yep.
Like, boy, we really have done a lot.
I was actually trying to think the other day, did we ever like bump into each other overseas? Like somewhere, Germany or...
Germany. I think it was a Sammy Deluxe Steve Twin Splash Festival.
Okay, yes.
Splash thing, wasn't it?
Sick. Man, I missed that. See? I missed all that, man.
Big up Sammy Deluxe.
Yeah, man.
by the way.
That's my guy.
That's our
Yeah.
people's.
Sammy, do you know what? Let me tell you. I don't know if I'm sure he probably told you the story on his podcast when he was here. But
Yeah.
they came to London, bro, to find me. Shout out to DJ Dynamite, Sammy,
Big up Dynamite.
Casper.
As well, yeah.
Is it Casper? All them guys, like, they came to London to find me because they couldn't get hold of me. And they literally got hold of me and like just wanted to ask me if I'd be on a tour with them. And I'm like, hell fucking yeah.
Yeah.
I will be on a tour with you. Like, and then and at the time, obviously, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yeah, I knew Sammy Deluxe or Dynamite Deluxe, right? But I then did a show in Hamburg, and I saw how this guy is revered.
Yeah. She's like the Jay-Z of
and
Germany.
loved, like,
Of the
and
gas
then
region.
just his persona. He was such a cool,
It's my
laid back
peoples.
guy.
Yeah.
Just give me the green and Sam Similia. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was wicked.
You get him and Afro together, and it's just like real
it was
game
so
over.
good. And then like it just gave me a different, like another level of appreciation for other things because it broadens your horizon and broadens your mind with regards to
Yeah.
you know I'm from an estate in SC8,
Yeah.
right? But seeing all of that over there and seeing how they really react to it, and it's funny because I said to somebody, because you know So Rotten went on to be like my biggest record, right? Do you know I was actually performing So Rotten on the tour in 2000 or 2001. It was my intro track.
Yeah?
I used to come out to
Because people normally, and I guess it's because it's so early.
And guess what?
Wow.
That was then, right? And now it's always my closing track.
Yeah, it has
because
to be.
that's the one everyone's waiting for,
Yeah.
like blah blah blah, right? And I'm like, how mad the way things work, right?
Yeah.
Like Sammy gave me that chance to. I say Sammy gave me the chance. Sammy, you know,
Built
gave
the
me
muscle on it.
Basically, allowed me to share his platform because you got to think he was the biggest guy at the time coming out. I think he was
Europe.
like the new thing.
Europe.
Yeah. And then we did other great things. So he then released an EP. I think it was. I'm not sure if the EP was called "Wake Me Up" or not, but yeah, I'm sure it was called "Wake Me Up" in Deutsch, in German language. It was "Wake Me Up" for I don't speak Deutsch, but it was called "Wake Me Up," and I did a track on there that I produced and featured on.
Wow.
It's called "To Rap For," and it's something we just kind of came up with on tour, and that EP went #1, and I benefited from it
Wow.
too. So it's probably a gold EP or something like that.
Sammy is the Midas touch when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Very similar to yourself, nothing but high regard because he can clock it. He can clock a good thing, but he also knows how to maximise it and share that experience.
Absolutely, and that's the thing we both had in common: sharing. I tell you now, because one thing about me, no one could tell me I never ever like shared my stage. I'm always. I love to bring people in and let's just have this moment together because I think it's so important. You know what I mean? Because especially if you think you deserve to be where I'm at right now and you deserve to share this limelight and stuff. So I've always done that with everything that I've done with regards to whether it's features, whether it's not calculated. It's not like, oh, I know, let me go and work with so-and-so. Even people that I approach to work with, sometimes when they don't even reciprocate it, or not even so much reciprocate, when they don't even like if I ask you to work with me and then you're like sort of wasting time and dallying, I'm like, wow. I'm not asking you because I think you'd be good for me. I'm asking you because I really respect what you do.
Yeah. That's
like
right.
I really rate you. Unless you don't rate me or respect me, then say so. Like, respectfully.
And you can clock you when you're excited about something because enthusiasm is everything. It's like you're on it. It's like it's engagement.
It's crazy, and it's funny because the amount of people I work with over the years. Someone asked me the other day, "Oh, so who's the most famous person you work with?" And I was trying to think about it. I was like, well, I've worked with a lot of people.
You work with a lot of people.
And I didn't really actively go seeking them out like that. It was just more like, I heard something, I was like, oh, this is great. Let's do something. You know what I mean? And yeah, of course, sometimes, you gotta know your worth. So you're not just gonna be like throwing yourself out there like a prostitute. You're not really just like, yeah, I'll do that. But at the same time, people that I really respect and I really rate, I like to collab with.
So on that note, sticking to the script of Kingdom, so you've got 3 titans in the UK hip hop genre. We're talking about fire in the booth level attention here.
Legendary one too.
I mean, yeah, it was a legendary one, and came within that same period. This Westwood backlash and all these different aspects pre-COVID, and then that reset everything. So it must have felt like a whirlwind.
Which one? Which bit of it?
Well, let's start with the first round. So the announcement of you guys coming together.
Yeah.
So what was the process? You were creating it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Really?
Yeah, in fact, that idea came second to the tour being announced, actually. And that was basically because I think Rodney must have said, well, boy, we're going to go on tour. It'd be nice for us to have some sort of material to perform together. Even though we'd all done tracks together, like me and Rodney featured on like one of my tracks before, like Dirty Stop Out, fun enough. And I'm sure me and Ty got something together somewhere. Actually, I remember doing a dub plate of Ty's "Oh You Want More" track.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I did that back in like 2005. Anyway, but so what happened was, I think I had just been introduced to an agent called Marlon by Simba. And I think Marlon also worked with Ty, I believe. I can't remember if it was Ty or not. Anyway, so Marlon had an idea to say, just trying to get us some shows. He said, maybe, what if you did a tour with Ty? Would you be happy to do shows with Ty? I'm like, yeah, of course no problem. And then, I don't know who said it, but they said, what if we even thought about like someone like Rodney P to bring him in? I was like, yeah, cool. Like, I'm cool with all these people. Like, it's no problem. And then we had a meeting, And then at that meeting, we was like, all right, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get you some shows. I'm gonna we've got to come up with a name. And then I was like, okay, cool. Obviously, the same way you kind of introduced us, say, you know, three titans or three kings of this UK scene and whatever, or London scene or whatever. And then I started thinking of like Mandem. We say like Mandem and all that. And I thought, wow, what about Kingdom? Because it's the kings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
conceived by the man himself. The name.
I said Kingdom, and then next thing you know, it was the Kingdom tour. Obviously, it wasn't as plain sailing as it might have seemed and whatever. There was a few fallouts, to say the least. So, you know, but, you know, life is too short, man, to be involved in beef like that. So I try not to get caught up in it too tough. Some people took it a bit too serious. And
when you got like three dons of the genre, you know, legacies, you know, of course all the friction creates the creative thing, right?
Well, yeah, yes and no, but I feel like
because you're not really a confrontational kind of guy.
Not really. I mean, I'm outspoken and I'm know I can hold my own and you know I don't usually back down, but I don't go looking for anything neither. So I'm very calm. I'm not overly opinionated. I have my opinion, but I'm not going to force it down anyone's throat. I listen, and then if you choose not to accept my opinion, end of story. I'm not going to be like trying to like this, that, and other. But everyone's not the same. So there was some situations where that kind of transpired a little bit, but it wasn't anything bad. It was intelligent. You got to remember, we're grown, we're intelligent, you know, individuals as well. Yeah. So it was amicably handled.
Yeah, it's amicably handled.
You know what I mean? So it was cool, and I actually gained a lot from it because I felt like I knew how to play my role. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew just to relax and let everyone say what they got to say, and I say what I've got to say. And,
Again, you can check out the Kingdom podcast for you to get a real gauge of that.
Exactly. So people say, and then you can check out some of our interviews. I saw an interview on I think it was BBC Radio 4, maybe Jasmine show. Really one of my favourite interviews. Nice. Fun enough. Like when I watched it back the other day, I was like, oh, this is really good interview. From when you get a good interviewer, you always kind of tend to get
it's
like
the best, man.
Yeah, you get someone that's kind of done a bit of research and really is invested in you as a guest on their show. So
love that.
It was really good. It was a really good interview. But you know, with the Kingdom thing, it was a bit of a whirlwind because it happened so quick. But we prepared well for it. Shout out to Wiz.
Shout out to Wiz.
Yeah, Wizzy did a lot of work, man. I don't even think he gets enough shouts.
Yeah, no, Wiz needs way more. Behind the scenes,
he really did so much for us. Like he came up with our logo for us. He coordinated a lot of our website for us.
He's a whiz at that. He's a don.
Honestly, like I wish I could actually remunerate him better, but unfortunately, you know, it's the way it is, and so. From my heart, if you see this, I don't know he'll see it anyway. Wizzy, you did a great job, and I'm really appreciative.
That's really nice of you to say. And you know, and big up Rodney P as well.
Yeah, man, big up Rodney P,
and rest in peace.
Of course, big up Ty and Ty's legacy. He lives forever.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, that was great, and everything that came off of the back of that was really a fun time for me anyway. You know, I love touring. How I managed to juggle it with my work, my day job. I don't even know how I did it, but it was great. And cool. Loved it.
It's incredible. My last question, I think, it's really easy to ask any regrets because actually there ain't none really. But is there any significant moments where you say to yourself, that's a regret, I should have capitalised on that regret?
Yeah, because for years I've gone around saying, oh yeah, you know, I don't live my life with any regrets. There are some. Whether I'll tell you right now, I really can't put my finger on it as such. I think I wouldn't use the word regrets. I think
that's what I'm saying.
It would probably be more like
hindsight.
Hindsight, obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Hindsight's 20/20, all them cliches. But it's more about like, I'm gutted I didn't capitalize on some things, for example, or I didn't see certain things because I was one of them people. I won't say I was naive, but I always kind of took people at face value sometimes and not realizing that actually there's some aspects of what they're doing that's quite calculated. Yeah. Everyone had their own little agendas going on. I think towards the sort of when my career kind of slowed down a little bit, I kind of started to feel like I'm just going to appreciate this more. like really take it in. Like
Yeah,
when I go
absorb
to
it more.
places, I absorb it more, really like take it in and whatever. So yeah, that's it. Other than that, there's no regrets as such, because what will be, man. Like, you know, you've got to influence it somehow. And I think I've learned that from just being in the corporate world. You can't actually force somebody to do something, but you can influence them to buy.
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think, if anything, I would have worked smarter as opposed to working harder, or work harder and smarter. And I wouldn't have been so trusting as well. I think, you know, some people do let you down. But I think overall, it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a beautiful journey, and it's not over yet.
No.
We'll see, you know, there's more to come. As I said the other day, I posted something, I said, to be continued. I think I did a list of my my releases, my discography, and I was like, to be continued. Because at one point, I was really like putting out loads of stuff, and then I kind of slowed down after a while. When I felt like it felt pointless, not because the quality of your music you were putting out wasn't good, but because the attention wasn't there. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just do it for myself then, just to enjoy it. So I never stopped writing. I write all the time. Music, I stopped making a little bit because, you know, I just stopped making music, as in producing beats. Because obviously a lot of people don't realise that I produce the majority of my material as well. So,
See what I'm saying?
You know, when people talk about like producers on the mic and that.
The real deal.
Yeah. So, you know, I produced all those tracks.
That's
the
crazy.
Tricksters, So Rottens, the Kickoffs, the Ain't Done Too Bads, Red Letters, blah, blah, blah.
That is mad.
Yeah.
In fact, the only person production-wise that is noted is Harry.
Harry's worked on...
The 19 Long Time.
No, Harry didn't work on me.
Didn't he do that?
No. That was Rumpel. Shout out to Rumpel. I've not seen that guy in decades.
I still use that phrase for so...
Yeah, no. So, but Harry actually started working with me on the... I think it was my next album. It must have been the Kickoff album.
I think it was a B-side or something.
Yeah, he did You Know.
Yes, it.
To start with. Then he did Online. And then since then, we've gone on to do like
Big
more
up
tracks,
Harry,
obviously.
But
But he's,
Rumble, big up, you know.
yeah, he's the only other producer that I've worked with in my early part of my career. Since then, obviously, I've worked with Silverstone more recently. And I've worked with Nutty P.
Nutty P, yeah.
Nutty P did a lot of the Kingdom
Yes, that's
EP.
right.
And then I did the Go Ape shit with him recently.
Yeah.
If you ain't heard it, look for it as well. It's on Spotify. And then I featured on his recent record called Problem Child. So I think that came out end of last year.
Wow.
So yeah, man, there's a lot going on, man.
There's a lot
yeah,
going on.
Yeah. It's a lot. And sometimes I feel like we ain't even got enough time to talk about it. But, you know, we'll have to do
we've covered a lot of
part two.
Yeah, cool, bro. I mean, look, friend first, fan second.
Yes, sir.
What I love the most is every time I see you, I don't know, Rakim called it the fountain of youth. His
Yeah.
music, there's a child in the eye, and I
Yeah.
fucking love your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
And every time you jump into a project, every time you're on stage, it's just a pleasure.
Yeah, you know, they said our generation was the Peter Pan generation, so we're never old. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, Evan.
there's a little bit of
If you're listening or
a little bit
watching,
of wizardry going on with my
that
beard.
screen
Sometimes
on, man.
it's grey, sometimes it's black.
But that's the appliance of science and
Indeed,
fashion.
appliance of science, indeed. But yeah, man.
Tony, absolute pleasure, my brother. Thank you
Appreciate
so much
man.
for joining us.
Shout out to Killa, man. I don't know
Yeah.
if a lot of people watching this podcast realise this guy's like, do you know I put you on a rhyme? I don't know if I told you this before.
Did you?
So I have a track with Conrank. Do you remember Conrank?
Big up Comrank, yes.
So when Conrank moved to China, he brought me out to China.
That's right.
And we did a track called Go Getter.
Yeah.
There's a track where I said something about I box clever, like on the beat. I'm something Killa Kela on the beat. I box clever.
Yeah, I got verse with Blak Twang, stuff.
Yeah, there's a line where I was trying to talk about. Like I think I said I'm Killa Kela on the beat. I box clever. There you go. That's the line.
I'm doggone heaven. On a Blak Twang verse. I love it. Enough respect, Comrank. GC Global here. Global,
man.
international travellers.
Indeed.
Yo, Blak Twang in the building.
Into outer.
Into outer. Yeah, all regions.
Exactly.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us, people. Sharing is caring. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend, all right? Crime don't pay, but neither do they. Don't talk to an I wouldn't. Nice one, Tony.
Thank you.
Peace.
Blessings.
Oh, big shout to Big Ted as well.
Oh, just call him Teddy, mate.